All right, welcome to another episode from the chart readers, and I'll be honest, it feels so good to be bullish on this video. All right, I'll be honest, high tide is not as fantastic as the other three, sandals, SNDL being number three here, but Tilly looks good, ACB looks good, and my goodness, it's really nice to see Sandal looking good right here for sure, for sure. SNDL, just like the other ones, have been very much struggling with the 8 and the 20. You've literally heard me say for months and months that like bad things happen under the 8 and the 20, bad things happen under the 8 and 20. It now looks like good things are going to be happening above the 8 and the 20, all right? So we'll get into the details shortly, but real quick, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how this thing is setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself, and then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like, subscribe, share, comment. Hey, anything you can do really does help with the YouTube algorithms, but I swear, I so appreciate your time and you just being here, okay? And look, I'm not perfect. I'm not all-knowing. If you got better opinions than me, I swear I'd love to hear them, all right? So just shoot them in the comments. But one more time, my goodness, look how fantastic this all looks, all right? First and foremost, I mentioned in the beginning of the call, man, it's been months, literally since February, where we have been well and consistently under the 8 and the 20. I was definitely a little on the bullish side right here. We never made it out. We definitely took a real bad turn after that, but look at what's been happening across this stock. My goodness, right? Yesterday I mentioned it in the comments. I know I didn't make the video, but I did mention in the comments if anyone saw it. Yesterday we broke the 50 moving average as well as my 159 resistance. I said I was expecting important confirmation today, and that, my friends, is what confirmation looks like, all right? I know it sounds silly when I say, like, wait for confirmation if you didn't get in, but, like, for real, this was a very beautiful day, and honestly, it looks like there should be more coming. Why? MACD is looking really nice. We're now in the positive. Are you kidding me? It actually looks like there is some solid divergence here. And divergence, again, just means green is going up, red is staying down. They are diverging. They're going away from each other, right? I actually kind of see the same thing with the RSI. It's not quite as drastic, but man, I love the number. Still very low. I'm not even worried about overbought just yet, right? And ooh, talk about real good volume, right? One little insignificant red over the last 7 days was yesterday above. Look at that. It was close, right? It was volume 3 million, 50 moving average 3.03, right? So I don't see what's behind that zero in the volume. Hopefully it was 4. Let's see if I can just zoom in and see it. I think we were under. Nonetheless, today we're over the 50 line and I love it, right? So where are we? Look, we are in technical heaven. We are sitting in a beautiful red with no real plateau till about here. So I'm expecting this thing to come to and actually crush this line, all right? I think this 200 will probably come down over the next few days, nearing these couple green candles, and I think that's probably where it's going to end. I'm going to draw my line right here. I'm expecting this $2 line to be a little difficult. Again, by the time we get around here, the 200 should be here, and if we get from 173 to $2, like that RSI should get a little closer to 80, because again, we're going to have to crush this 100 to get there, right? But woo, I'm liking this a lot. And look, 17 cents is 10%. We're adding about 25 here, so maybe a 15% swing. All right, not too bad, not too fantastic, but hey, this is a nice uptrend. And look, end of the day, what we're really trying to see now is where we're going to bounce off of. Obviously, I care about going, and I'm not taking it back. I do think we're going to crush the 100. My curiosity will be, if I'm right and we can't get over this $2, what are we going to bounce off of? Are we going to use the 100? Are we going to come lower and use the 50? Or is this bad boy going to actually use the 8 moving average like a champ, right? Like, ooh, I gotta go back. Man, it's been a minute since this thing actually doesn't bounce on the 8 very well. It just kind of rides it up and then loses it. This might be a good little moment right here. Not even really, though. That's important to know. Look, the stock doesn't ride the 8 much. So, again, like I said, I still think we're going to go from 173 to 2. We'll see what happens around the 2 range. And again, I'm very curious to see how this bounce happens. One more time, I haven't mentioned it here. I did mention it on the Tilray and ACB video. Look, there is a good amount of buy the rumor, sell the news happening here, all right? Nothing's happened yet, but there, excuse me, ooh, excuse me, a little burp. There are rumblings that there might be some like meetings or like Senate this or whatever that to talk about regulations. Look, end of the day, I'm not here to pretend I know more about politics than anyone else, but like I know there's going to be no like legal or federal changes overnight. One meeting isn't going to do anything. Let's just say the Senate approves. That doesn't really mean too much, all right? It means more than the no we've heard, but there are other things that need to happen before we actually get a thing on Biden's desk or whoever's president by the time it gets to the president's desk. You know what I mean? So I'm so happy to see these candles, but again, I think it's just important to keep a little bit of realistic perspective, all right? That said, I am beyond loving this chart, all right? What are we looking at here? Look, again, this is a fantastic weekly. We've smashed the 8 moving average for the first time in a while, all right? The important thing is going to be confirming next week. And look, again, even on the weekly, red, pretty much to this 2 line, right? Like, what is this, just to know? 187. Where is 187? Ooh, that might be here. Okay, so the 100 moving average is going to be a little difficult test, but again, I still think I'm going to say it. I think we're going to smash this 100, and I think we should be coming to the 2. That is my pretty bullish call on Sandal here, and yeah, let's see how that goes. High tide. Let's come over here, and again, there are really good things happening on this chart, but they're actually not as drastic as the last 3 weed stocks I've covered. Just in case you fast forwarded to this, let me just show you real quick, all right? Tilly, boom, real hard up, all right? ACB, to my surprise, I'm going to call this a real hard up for this stock especially. And obviously, we just saw Sundial, right? Pretty hard up. That said, look, high tide hasn't been as super hard downtrend as the others have, right? Because really, since April, this thing's been holding pretty well. All right, a little bit of a scare right here, but pretty much horizontal. All right, so I think the fact that the rest did a pretty big curve up was maybe just a little bit of a compensation for the fact that like they just end of the day weren't you know horizontal like this. Just my theory. All right, nonetheless, what are we seeing? Really good things, right? We have broken our downtrend. Look, yesterday broke it. Not quite good confirmation, all right? We're literally at the same day. This is a 0%, right? But hey, it's a green candle. It actually isn't like below it. The one thing I don't like is the filled in ones because again, this actually opens a penny higher than it closes. I'm just not a fan of that, right? I want green outlines all the time. Again, though, we're over the 8 and the 20. We're actually over this downtrend. End of the day, there's 2 lines here, just a little too thick. My 155 alert, I think, is gonna come down. I really want to know 146. I'll tell you that for sure. I'll set an alert at 146. An alert is not an immediate buy notification, but yeah, I really want to know when we can get over all these moving averages because just zooming out, it's been since November 2001 that we've been over the 200 moving average. All right. Since November 2001. All right. That's a long time. I'm for sure glad we're over these 2 lines. I still am not 100% sure we're over this one. I wish this confirmation was just a little better. But yeah, for me on this stock, I do want to get over all the moving averages before I'll start throwing some money into this one. That said, though, again, this one isn't as drastic up as the last 4, but I don't want to say need it because everyone wants it to go drastic up, right? But the other ones have been struggling a lot more. So I do think that's kind of why. Where are we at the weekly? Ooh, a critical doji on a critical line. All right. Next week should be telling. And I think that's going to mean either breaking 140, hopefully even coming a little higher because let's just 141. All right, that's the goal for Friday next week. Anything better than that really would be fantastic. But if we can break the 20 on the weekly, I think that's going to be very, very important. And again, look at that 50 moving average. That 50 moving average is essentially the 200 moving average on the daily. It's been since November of 2001 since we've been over the 50 on the weekly. And, where's this thing sitting at? 144. Where is this thing sitting at? 154. All right, interesting. 154 might be a little bit hard to break, and I know I have alerts on this thing at 155, 156, because that's what the 200 used to be. That's where I know this line came from. But yeah, I think breaking this, I'm still going to be curious. I'll be really honest with you. That alone isn't quite a full 10%, but that's not a bad one. Breaking 155 is still the money line on this stock for sure. But again, the sector's looking good. I know Canada's not quite US, right? So, that was really stupid. I know high tide is not US, right? So do the legal rumors for the US matter for these Canadian stocks? Maybe not as much, but hey, when the sector is good, it raises the tides and all the boats go up. You know what I mean? So hey, these are just my thoughts and opinions. Let me know if you disagree. Otherwise, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you.